Next, we're going to be watching the recording of this presentation called Reverence. And this was actually a ticketed event. People paid to go to this. Reverence, Bootblacking, and the Legacies That Bind Us. This was held at the Center for LGBTQ Studies at the City College of New York. Bootblacks connect the leather community to its roots. Its lust for leather, the queer intimacies and archives forged through revered objects indeed. Its commitments to mutual aid. Holy shit. Mutual aid mentioned in the presentation description. I love it. And the scent of a Hubbard's in the dark, crowded basement. But as an intergenerational practice passed on through mentorship, most bootblacks carry on the legacies of those who came before them, legacies that massaged into the leathers of those lucky enough to take a seat on their stands. I have no idea what any of this shit is, and, we're gonna learn. So we're gonna get into this presentation. Hope everyone's here for it. And, let's get this party started.
Sync clap 2 with
masks.
camera.
Look at the mask. Look at, they're all wearing, oh my god, they're all dressed up. They're all dressed up. This is at a university. This is about, yeah. Is this about them licking shoes? Is that what this is about? Is that what bootblacking? Are they licking shoes?
Of the Power of Leather series. It's a series of in-person dialogues, interactive performances, and community events exploring leather sex, sadomasochism, and leather culture.
They're all dressed in leather.
The series has been presented by CLAGS, the Center for LGBTQ Studies at CUNY, and organized by us, Laura Westergaard, that's me, and Sparks.
Thank you. We have had 4 incredible conversations around racialized erotics and leather, the abject, exigent sadism, and dungeons as gender laboratories for trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people. Our speakers have bridged academia and community. Ariane Cruz, Mama Vi, King Cobra, Empress Wu, Aki Sakitopolu, Yin Q, Susan Strager, Ignacio Rivera, and now the panelists that you are about to meet.
Yeah, it's been quite a year. We actually met at a Kink Out event about a year and a half ago, Farewell to Hell. Who was there? Who went to Farewell to Hell? Anybody here? Yeah. So Cassandra and I met there, and we discussed the place of kink in academia, or the lack thereof. And at one point, I asked Cassandra, what would your fantasy be as a scholar and a community member?
And I said that I had a fantasy of spaces where we could not just talk about kink and leather sex, but actually engage in the pleasure of it. Engage in the experience of being together as community, of the feelings, the libido, the desire that make these community spaces possible. Like, what would happen if we were to fuse those things together?
So, like a proper Virgo Aquarius duo, can you guess who's the Virgo? By the following September, we had made this happen. Actually, you all made it happen. Your enthusiasm for these conversations, located at the center of pervert smarty Venn diagram, meant that we filled the halls of the CUNY Graduate Center with a sexiness factor the likes of which they had never seen. So thank you for coming to Midtown in your fetish wear.
Woo! And thank you
That's a
to
clip.
CLAGS. Like, seriously, y'all, first of all, we have overwhelmed them. They have never met people as hungry as you all for all of the stuff we are putting together. And this entire year, we have thrown everything at them, and every single time they have been like, totally fine, give us more. And honestly, at this moment in time, having an academic institution that supports radical, transgressive, queer programming is urgently needed and important. So we thank CLAGS from the bottom of our hearts for supporting this work. That was intentional.
So I want to give a shout out to CLAGS' donation page. If you want to keep seeing free public programming like this, you can go to clags.org, C-L-A-G-S, and donate. Show them how much we care in this community. And thank you all for coming here to this culmination of our fantasy made flesh. We are so excited to turn it over to our moderator today, Tina
Very
Horn,
excited.
to help us properly intellectualize Hubbards for the next hour and a half.
This is at a college. Taxpayer-funded college.
Thank you, Laura. I am not gonna intellectualize anything. I'm a bimbo. So. Oh yeah, wait. Is this one mine? Which one's? I'm just gonna put this here. Bend over while I Yes. Oh no, wait. This one is yours. I think you have to scoot down. Oh, I think that's case. I think.
Yeah, the outfits really make it, I think.
Oh, my script, dear God. Is that a proper bimbo reaction to that? Okay, hi everybody. Just coming up with reasons to show you my hats.
I can't see
Yeah. So, I'm Tina Horn. Did I say that already? I'm going to put this Hubbards on top of this script. So, this panel is from now until 4 o'clock. So plan your scenes accordingly. Let's see what else. So we're not being live streamed. You can all be very present. But we are being recorded, so behave accordingly. Let's see what else. Oh, we have a quick and easy photo policy. Photos and videos are allowed outside. This is outside. But no photos are allowed of people with green glow sticks. Please get consent of anyone being photographed. Does everyone on the panel consent to be photographed? No? Okay. Confusing consent. That's not allowed here. I hope so, because we're being recorded. You already agreed to that? Okay. Finally, oh, and so we're going to have a Q&A. This plant is trying to be a part of my hair. We're going to have a little bit of time at the end for Q&A, if we have time. That's a big if. So if you want to ask a question, you can take this time to think about how you want to phrase it. Please ask juicy questions, make them good. I don't want to be bored, and neither do these panelists. Do you want to be bored? I didn't think so. And also, I run my panels like a burlesque show, so please, lots of cheering, lots of laughing, crying, hurling, and so on. Sound good? There will actually be hurling later, but we'll give you a content warning for that. So if you've been wondering, oh, they're so good. Bootlicks are so good. God, I love them. So if you've been wondering what question, who?
The sound issue is on their end. Anything about it? Wait a second. I'm back.
We've already had Laura and Cass. So I'm going to skip all this copy that I'm sure you all read and just tell you a little bit more about our panelists. Q, right here to my right. Yeah, give it up. This is good. You all have been to a burlesque show before, I can tell. So Q's bio that they submitted, this plant's bio. Q is a queer, actively non-monogamous.
Actively non-monogamous.
Leather boy, that's B-O-I. Oh, thank you. Oh, Felice. Everybody give it up for Felice Shays. That's old guard behavior right there. Folks, I hope you're okay with me saying that, Felice. And then next up, next up is Deja Flames. Everybody give it up for Deja. Deja Flames is a gender-expansive Afro-Latina leather middle, service cat, and feral feline based in Chicago. How long are you in New York?
Born and raised in New York.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, grab that microphone.
Until the 17th. I have to go to Folsom.
Hell yeah. Okay, great. Well, there will be more questions for you later. And then next up is Tamara Santibáñez. Everybody give it up for Tamara.
Let's see if I can turn this up a little bit more.
Tamara Santibáñez is an interdisciplinary artist and oral historian based in Brooklyn. Tamara actually designed this shirt,
How is my mic
which
volume?
is for a sex party that I went to at the Dream House, not too far away from here. RIP to the Dream House. And then last but certainly not least, we have Rocket.
Thank you.
Rocket is an anarcho-surrealist, transsexual wizard and bootblack of 15 years living in the Hudson Valley. And so my first question for all of you, and I'll give my answer first, and then we can move on down the line, is what is your relationship to the bootblack in front of you? So I was gonna say that Riley and
Wait,
I.
is he doing it right now?
Into each other in the bathroom, which is where I found out that here.
What's going on over here? They're doing it. Oh, they're all doing it. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I don't know. I don't know if they're licking the boots.
Like an hour ago. But that's actually not where we met, but it was where I found out that they would be bootblacking me today, which is very exciting. But Riley was taught to bootblack by my wife, who I do have to say is a deadbeat dad of many bootblacks, and, which makes me the evil stepmom of many bootblacks. Yeah, and then Q, how do you know the bootblack in front of you?
Oh my God, I was thinking about this yesterday. Katie, I don't know where, it's an Imsel connection. I don't know which
What
year.
does Imsel stand for?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Please, God, let one of them lick the boot on video.
They changed it to International Miss Leather and Boot Black. So Imsel, I identify as a Bubba. I'm old school. That's me. But when we were in Imsel history, this sprightly being appeared, and we have been.
It was your step down.
That was a busy day. It was a busy day. Busy day. But as far as I can remember in my brain, I swear Katie has been in it. And we've just been great friends. It wasn't even a let's try and see, like, I want to be friends. We just, whoop, there we were. We've been friends forever, and I love this human to pieces. We don't get to see each other very much, and they're the reason I'm here. So thank you, Katie.
Hello. So I met Chai after my run for Northeast Boot Black 2025.
This is a fetish.
I came to the competition and we got to talk a little bit before and after.
I just put it into ChatGPT, and it says, boot blacking is both a service and an erotic practice centered around care, maintenance, and often ritualistic attention to boots, leather, and sometimes other gears. It has roots in leather subculture and carries symbolic weight beyond simple shoe polishing. It is about practical leather care, service and power exchange, and intimacy and fetish. Some participants eroticized the act itself, the tactile engagement with leather, the smell of polish, the physical closeness between boot black and wearer, or the symbolism of boots as markers of dominance, identity, and pride. And then I said, do they lick the boot? And then they said, ChatGPT says, yes, they sometimes do. It depends on the context. In BDSM and fetish scenes, licking the boots may be incorporated as a form of submission, devotion, and fetish play. Some submissions are slaves lick the dominant's boots to show obedience or reverence. The name of the event is fucking reverence. And ChatGPT is telling me that licking the boot is about showing reverence. Wow. Can't make this stuff up. Your taxpayer-funded colleges, guys. This is what they're teaching at the taxpayer-funded colleges in New York City. You're welcome.
Chai, if you let Chai tell it, will say, "Oh, you are my mentor," and I'm like, "No, shh, don't tell people that. I'm just a friend. I'm just a friend. I'm someone who's happy to just give advice and conversation. But you know, Chai has been like my best friend, my buddy, my confidant, just an amazing human being in my life. And I'm honored to get my boots done by them, and every time I get my leathers done by them."
So we just had the pleasure of meeting today for the very first time, and but also got to chat about libraries, got to talk about indexing and cataloging systems and leather, some of my favorite topics. And I will admittedly say that I showed up with my boots in a really trashed condition today.
Is she a librarian? Did she just tell us she's a librarian? Of course. They're both librarians, of course.
In incredible hands, in very stylish hands with a lot of flair. So really grateful to be here and to be so well taken care of.
Well, Bo and I are just meeting today, but I have a sense we're going to be good friends.
Okay, great. So my first question is for Deja.
I'm sorry, did he just push that person's head into his crotch? Yeah, okay. Taxpayer-funded colleges, let's go. Watch over here.
Bo and I.
Oh no, just push. No, not really. Okay, false alarm.
So my first question is for Deja, and I'm going to address each question to an individual panelist, and then when they are done monologuing, then others can chime in. Sound good, y'all? Cool. So Deja, what is your boot blacking style, and how does your background inform your style? So let's say, I'm going to paint you all a word picture. Let's say I was wearing a full Senstep leather hood. You picturing it? Okay, cool. And someone put me in your, that's all I'm going to say for now. And someone put me, Deja, in your boot black chair. How would I know it was you boot blacking me?
So I'm gonna let y'all know now. I'm gonna have to have this question repeated to me a few times.
Oh, sure.
Does anyone else feel like they're watching porn? And I know this isn't like they're not naked or anything and they're not having sex, but like I feel like I'm watching something that I shouldn't be. I feel like I'm watching porn. I'm like, what's gonna happen next? Like, what are they gonna do?
Listen, neurodivergency. Y'all already know how that is. But yes, so how would someone know that it's me off the top of my head? I really love to massage people. I think there's really something beautiful about, regardless of who you are, your gender, how you show up, somebody being able to just give you physical touch. I think post-COVID, we really.
She's
lost
not
the
wearing
sense of
pants. She's
physical
not. What
touch
the fuck?
felt like,
Why
and
do
just
I?
feel good in
Why
our
do I
bodies.
see this woman's ass? Why do I? This is a college. Why do I see this woman's ass? Oh God, Father Matique, Father Matique, don't watch this, Father Matique, don't watch this. We apologize. We repent. We repent. Don't. Father Matique needs to pray for us. He needs to absolve us of our sins of watching this video. What the fuck?
Really lost a sense of what physical touch felt like and just feel good in our bodies. So I feel like every human that sits for me, I do like to give a little bit of massage. Like I'll focus on the ankles, the feet, the toes. So you'll feel that. And if somebody's got like a whole hood on, I feel like you're gonna have your head massage, your shoulders, your neck. I want you to melt.
I cannot stop looking at that woman's ass
really
now.
tall, and they just buckle at the knees and they fall into me, and I'm like, yes, my precious. Yes, relax. You're here for a good time. But overall, my style of bootblacking does come from my background as a Black woman. So because of who I am and how I show up in the world, I always want to do some sort of softness, some gentleness when people see me. Like I want them to know that like I am a safe space. So that really does inspire my bootblack.
Great answer. Thank you so much, Deja. Does anybody else on the panel have an answer about how their background informs their style and how I would know it was you that was bootblacking me?
I could definitely tell you how you would know. I like massage much like my partner here. For me, I like to use my forearms with Hubbards and get between the legs.
Oh, can you tell us what Hubbard's is?
Oh, Hubbard's is a shoe grease.
Yeah.
this
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
If anyone's nervous and you want to treat this like poppers and just like double Scorpio, R.I.P. Yeah.
It smells like campfire.
They're telling them to sniff shoe polish?
It's a good sort of like hair grease to tap on at the end of the day, or like you're going out a little behind the ear. It does wonders. I like using my musculature to work with people. It's definitely more along the massage lines and making sure everyone feels good and happy and safe and welcome in my space.
Hell yeah. Anybody else?
So I'm also one of Daddy Katie's children. But I came into bootblacking through the puppy scene originally. And so for me, it is all about the licking. And so I think a lot of people will do one boot all the way through and then the other all the way through. I actually prefer to, clean and then clean, condition and then condition, polish and then polish, and then I can just fully throw myself into fully throw myself into licking, so I don't have to get into that zone and then come back out of it.
Cool.
So I think the way you'd know it was me is you'd have to be like, okay, that's enough licking. I have other stuff to do
I
today.
don't think I would say that, though. Tamara, do you have an answer?
What the fuck?
I love that question. I would second the licking. Maybe with consent, my face might be under your shoe at some point. That's on the table. But I'm used to doing so many things where you're chatting and doing your technical work at the same time. So I'm also really here just for a little kiki, a little conversation back and forth.
Cool. I love that. Oh, what is your background?
Tattoo artist.
Cool. Amazing. So Rocket, I've got a multi-part question for you.
Yeah. Can we just do a public service announcement? If any of you have kids, please, for the love of all that is holy, do not send them to college. Because this is the type of thing that your kids are going to attend at college. We didn't create this problem, we're just documenting it.
power dynamics, both negotiated and systemic. And I know you can handle this, or you can choose a couple of elements. So how can bootblacking be sadistic, masochistic, submissive, dominant for tops, bottoms, or sides? How can it be foreplay, fetish sex, sex unto itself, transactional in the sense of money exchange? Because we do tip our bootblacks.
Oh, it's capitalist.
And or mutual aid.
Oh, wait. Did they just say they tip their bootblacks and it's mutual aid, so it's not capitalism because mutual aid is the opposite of capitalism? So they're not paying them money for a service that's obviously sexual. They're doing mutual aid. I'm sorry, this probably isn't as funny as it to you as it is to me, but like I just can't help myself. This is hilarious.
Transactional money. Do tip our bootblacks and or mutual aid.
Mutual.
I love you too, Tina. I think that it's very easy to make assumptions about role and about power when you're doing activities that involve negotiated power. I think it's very easy to have this cascade of assumptions that come from what you're physically doing in the scene. Like, if you are in the position of providing a service, then that can be associated with all of these other roles and identities that have to do with, if you're the one providing service, then that also means that like you're sexually receptive. That also means that you're submissive in the power dynamic. That also means all of these other things. That also means, often there's gendered implications as well. And like the bundling of those things, like, let's be real, it usually comes back to misogyny and strictly lazy. Like, I think when we're already in a place that we are dismantling the things that we've been taught to believe are sex, and the things that we've been taught to believe sex is for, why are we then gonna just accept all of these other assumptions about power and gender and role and who's performing and who's receiving? There's a really amazing teacher and book. The book's called The Art of Receiving and Giving. Betty something. Betty Martin. Thank you. Oh, now that's mutual aid. And Betty Martin talks about disconnecting the assumptions around receiving and giving and who is this for and who is this benefiting and whose desire is this. Because at the end of the day, like, the reason that we're here is desire, right? The reason that we're here, the reason that we're doing what we're doing is that we've all decided that we want to live in a way where we're honoring our desire as a fundamental part of what makes us human and alive. And we're following that and we're trusting that desire. And so the idea that that desire is always going to play out in these very regimented ways, these very predictable ways, like, that's just not, that doesn't map to what humanity is like. That doesn't map to what we are like or what the nature of desire is like. And so I think, bootblacking, like any sex act, can be anything. It's just what the people involved decide that it is and decide that it means.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Does anybody else want to weigh in? Power dynamics, sex. Does anybody else want to weigh in? Thank you. Give it up for our ASL interpreters in the house today. Anybody else want to weigh in? Power dynamics, sex. What is surprising?
All of the questions. What I want to say to piggyback is the only way that works is you have to use your words. There's no shortcut. There is no shortcut. You're going to have to use your words, whether that's writing them down beforehand and having that negotiation then, but you can't go into a scene, a bootblacking even, without understanding what each other wants. So learn to use your words. It's scary as hell, for sure. Hi, new person I don't know. I would like to talk to you. But it's okay. You gain confidence. You get to share that sort of confidence with your friends and people around you. So you set that example. You raise the bar when you do the thing, and everybody else sees you doing it.
Thank you. Anybody else on the panel?
Honestly, Rocket's answer 8. So, no notes, really not much more to add to that. I think if you are in leather, kink, fetish, alternate lifestyle, and you're looking for a thing, or even if you're just vanilla and you like leather, if you're looking for something that is beyond roles, beyond gender, beyond, I gotta be a top, bottom, switch, whatever, name it. Bootblacking is so beautiful because it can be solo play. It could be something you do with friends. It's something that you could do with your partner. And it's a really great way to just meet people. So if you're looking for something that's very niche like that you could just kind of dive into it head first. And you don't need like formal training. You don't need someone to teach you the things. You should know the basics, but there's really nothing like it in this community that you can do like bootblacking. So that's just my spiel to make everybody in the room bootblacks.
Tamara?
Yeah, everyone's answers were so beautiful and so complete. But I would second all of that, and also say that a lot of what I do, whether that's tattooing, acupuncture, like energy work for people, bootblacking, is so much about making a space for people to trust that they can receive care in a way that they don't always let themselves or trust themselves to do, let alone trusting other people to provide for them. And I find that bootblacking in a world where people can feel very intimidated despite their curiosity or despite their deep desires is an amazing entry point to dip your toe in, quite literally, and try something that you might be new to.
Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, I'm getting my very high arches massaged with hubbers right now. In case anyone was wondering, I have very high arches. So Q. A bootblack, I know, often says that a shoe shine makes you shiny on the outside, while bootblacks make you feel shiny on the inside. So what do you do in your bootblacking practice to make someone feel shiny on the inside?
I stop talking. If you know me, that's a thing. I talk a lot. One of the things I really like to do with people, especially new folks to community, when they sit for me, is introduce myself, ask them a little bit about the boots as far as care, and then I'm like, tell me about your boots. What's your story behind your boots? Have you had them for a long time? It just prompting questions. Sometimes, usually with newer people, they're like, well, they're not real leather. It's like, I didn't ask that. That's not what I asked. You don't have to have real leather to be leather. In my opinion, leather is actually who you are inside. It doesn't matter about this or my boots or whatever.
Leather is who you are on the inside.
You're a part of this community. And I want people to feel that and feel accepted and
it's
welcome.
It's a feeling. Leather is a feeling.
I had a person who was sitting for me and they were like, well, I don't really see a whole lot of people at this event that look like me. I don't know if I'm gonna come back. And I looked at them and was like, so what happens to the next person that looks like you and then looking for someone like you and you're not here? She came and found me later in the afternoon and she said, I'll be back next year. So that's what I want to give people, that sense of welcome, that you belong here, no matter what you see and other people may tell you, forget that life drama, stay off of it, go where you want to go, do what you want to do, see, but be respectful, show compassion and kindness. I do that, so hopefully other people will do it. Thank you.
Anybody else want to jump in?
I'm gonna need you to repeat the question.
Oh yeah, so what do you do to make someone feel shiny on the inside? You can say that.
I could definitely, I just want to second what you said about the storytelling aspect. I think that that's such a generous invitation, and that everyone, even if they think that they don't have a story or a reason to be in a space, certainly does. Beyond
There's a
what
leather
they
pride
expect.
bar.
And to be there to receive it is such a beautiful thing, and such a thing to be grateful to be a part of, and to be able to make yourself available for.
I also want to second Katie saying that, like, how special it is to do the boots of someone that's never had their boots done before.
Popping their cherry.
It's such a special experience. I see some agreement from the boot blacks. And part of it, I think, is because they don't know if they like it, they don't know if they want it, but they're curious.
They don't think they deserve it.
Yeah. They don't know what it's like to have someone, because sort of socially we think of your shoes, your feet as like the lowest part of you, and so someone feeling invited into the experience of like, what if that part of me was also worthy of love and care and even worship?
Yes, Patrick, that's right.
Getting to watch them open into that and relax into that is always so beautiful.
Just to even add to that, even if it's just not the experience that I have with people every single time, but listening to folks' stories, following that journey along of like where your boots have been, where's your leathers been, what do they mean to you, who gave them to you, what did that person mean to you. I think listening to all those stories and people just being listened to for a moment in a world that like people usually don't get to tell their stories is really powerful. And then like folks just having a moment to sit with someone and go, wow, like I feel listened to, I feel heard, I feel seen. That's just the beauty of like experiencing bootblacking with someone. So I agree with everybody here on the panel.
And to add to that, when I find that people, in S-type people in MS sort of things, people who are really service-oriented and doing the things, they don't like getting it up into the chair. They're like, So them being in a position that's higher, even just to sit somewhere higher, is a new experience for them. So I love to do that.
Cool. All right, Tamara, how can you be anti-materialist and anti-capitalist while practicing the worship of an object and material that is usually a consumer product?
Winner, I win the internet. How can you be anti-capitalist while licking a fucking boot? Can I get a series of Carlin was right in the chat, please? How can you be anti-capitalist while licking a fucking boot? It just snuck right up on me. Again.
All right, Tamara, how can you be anti-materialist and anti-capitalist while practicing the worship of an object and material that is usually a consumer product?
I love this petty-ass question.
Folks would like me to repeat the question, which I am more than happy to do. So, Tamara, how can you be anti-materialist and anti-capitalist and practice the worship of an object and material that is usually a consumer product?
I love this question because, there's something. I'm a Taurus, right? And so I know very well that like collector culture, we're all nerds. We love the attraction of a shiny thing, of wanting to have, the newest, the shiniest, the most exciting thing, right? I've definitely been, fallen victim to that myself. But so much of this work about this practice and about this community is about developing a relationship beyond the object, and to having a relationship of reciprocity in a sense, where it's not just about what your leather can do for you, even though it does do so much for us, but what you can do for your leather, and about learning caretaking, learning repair, learning to extend the life of things, having a curiosity about how something is made versus taking for granted that you can buy a new one or that another one will show up to you, because so many of the objects that we that we collect, that we have relationships with, that we wear, that we play with, take on a life beyond, their place of origin, the material that they're made of. And for that reason, leather community has such a practice of generosity. I could wear something for 10 years and pass it on to somebody that I love and love it enough to let it go. And so I see those things happening so in tandem with one another and being very inherent to the spirit of leather and of the material relationship.
Leather belongs to the collective. They're the caretakers of the leather, and it belongs to the collective. Therefore, it is not capitalist.
I am so excited to add to this question. Bootblacking is inherently political and anti-capitalist.
Yes! Yeah! I'm totally having an orgasm right now. I'm not, like, that was so inadvertent. Oh, someone's gonna clip that out of context bad. Can we just rewind and listen to that again? Thank you. Bootblacking is inherently political and inherently anti-capitalist. That was so good. That was the best orgasm I've had all week.
I am so excited to add to this question. Bootblacking is inherently political and anti-capitalist because we are keeping these leathers, these textiles, these items out of the landfill. We are preserving the history of those items to be passed on, to be kept in your closet. So what better
got our ass out for
use
this
of
question.
your time and skill by keeping things for our community and for our memory. I taught a class, or I would say mostly had a discussion the other day that really talked about whole animal theory. So there is a Black and indigenous practice of using all parts of the animal. You eat the meat, you keep its hide, you can wear its fur, you use its oils and fats to condition the same hide that you're gonna be wearing. And when we think about that as like, these are practices that are really ingrained in who we are, what we're doing is simply just like preserving and practicing what are kind of our right to do as people. It's the correct thing to do. You shouldn't just eat the animal and discard it and not take care of it and preserve it. Like that animal made a sacrifice. You keep showing appreciation and honor to that sacrifice of that animal. And then political, because what we're doing, I mean, whether it's sexual or not, whether it's kinky or not, whether it's whatever you see your bootblacking and leather care as, like, it's completely opposite of what you were supposed to be doing. Like, we have this idea of like, oh, like femmes are supposed to be doing things like this, and masculine folks are supposed to be doing things like this, and like taking care of leather and being like, you know what, I can do what I want, how I want it, dress how I want. You know, it's such a beautiful political act. What is more political than like doing exactly what you're not supposed to be doing? We are taught like you should keep buying, keep spending, put your money into these things. It's so beautiful to be like, no, I'm gonna wear this thing for 20 freaking years if I want to, and I'm gonna take care of other people's things that are like 100 freaking years old. So I don't know if we're allowed to curse, but yeah. But yeah, just I had to put that perspective out there. Thank you for it. Yes.
Cunning and brave.
And thinking about it from a bootblacking historical perspective, there was only one person in each motorcycle club, if that's a longer story, that was allowed to do the boots for their club members. They were the one special person that their club members trusted to take care of their leathers so they could continue to wear them on and on and on before we got to this disposable culture. So it's really bringing us back to where we started as bootblacks and what we were doing.
Yeah, I also, can we get a little witchy with it?
I wish you would.
Please, yes, please.
I'm starting to get licked, so that's perfect.
So, you know, I think Marge Piercy says attention is prayer. And the idea that engaging with an object is inherently materialist. Like, I think that's surface level. I think materialism is not about the physical object itself, it's about the acquisition and the disposability. And in fact, engaging with these objects, engaging with any objects, can be a meditative and spiritual and magical practice to the extent that, you know, we live in a
How do you know he's
conscious
licking?
cosmos and everything is
Wait,
infused with holiness.
how do you know he's licking? How, like, why are you saying, bro, Amalek? I just got them on video saying that doing a fetish where they lick each other's boots is anti-capitalist. Wait, she said they were licking? Did she? Okay, rewind. They said I'm starting to get licked right now. Yo, how did I miss that? I must have still been distracted by the orgasm I had earlier when they said bootblacking was anti-capitalist. Is it this black one that said it?
Years old, so I don't know if we're allowed to curse, but yeah. But yeah, just I had to put that perspective out there.
Thank you for it. And thinking about it from a bootblacking historical perspective, there was only one person in each motorcycle club, if that's a longer story, that was allowed to do the boots for their club members.
That person is missing her pants, Kayla. Yep.
That their club members trusted.
This guy right here is wearing a fetish mask. You see this guy right here, like in the audience?
Back to this disposable culture. So it's really bringing us back to where we started as bootblacks and what we were doing.
Yeah, I also, can we get a little witchy with it?
I wish you would. I'm starting to get licked, so that's perfect.
So
you guys are right. She said it.
You know, I
she's
think
starting to get licked.
Marge Piercy says attention is prayer, and the idea that engaging with an object is inherently materialist. Like, I think that's surface level. I think materialism is not about the physical object itself; it's about the acquisition and the disposability. And in fact, engaging with these objects, engaging with any objects, can be a meditative and spiritual and magical practice to the extent that, you know, we live in a conscious cosmos and everything is infused with holiness, and like to treat boots with the honor that they as part of the universe, as part of the conscious universe, and as the legacy of an animal that was alive and is no longer alive, and as part of the sort of extension of our own bodies that is our choices and adorning ourselves, and like become part of our proprioception and part of our self-understanding as part of that, to honor that and to love that, and to treat that as precious, I think is really the antidote to the disposability politic that we've been.
Thank you all so much. So we have a little bit of time, and then I think we are going to turn it over to Q&A. So think about your non-boring questions.
Yes, very non-boring question, please.
Cool. So a lot of all the pressure.
Guys,
so a lot of
we still have almost an hour. There's still, we're only half an hour into this. This is fucking wild.
Time we describe how it feels to have your boots done. But how does it feel to boot black? Yeah, this is just free for all now. Yeah.
Look up and you're okay. How does it feel to have someone work on your boots?
Yeah. Or no. To be
for
the
me to,
when
oh
the
my
roles
gosh.
were reversed.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I just love being able to do the thing, to like sit and be.
Malak, this is a class at the City University of New York. This is like actually taxpayer funded bondage, queer kink.
That adoring face at someone, like this face is at me right now. But to be able to talk someone through perhaps learning how to take care of their own boots. People are like, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, no, you can do it. You absolutely can. Let me show you. It's just that easy. A lot of us used to, I carried around during my title year a 13-pound toolbox with all kinds of brushes, all kinds of gels, creams, blah, blah, blah. But that 13-pound toddler was unwieldy, and I didn't use most of the stuff that was in there. I went back to my basic stuff. David Hawkes, who is an international Mr. Boot Black, is someone I admire. He used to boot black in bars wearing a button-down white shirt, rolled it up 3/4. He's gonna boot black in a bar, in a button-down. You don't understand. That's magic. And only carried like black polish, clear polish, and maybe brown. That's all they carried. And their soap, and that's it. They didn't carry all this stuff. You don't need all the things you see other people with. We get a little greedy and a little like stir crazy when we first start. And ultimately what I've done is like create new boot blacking kits for other people out of all the stuff I already had. So I love being able to boot black for people and talk to them about what they can do and try to connect them with people that are in their local communities, because a lot of times I'm at some other event not in my state or whatever. So I enjoy helping people understand that this is for them too. And even if you never do boot blacking like this, it's okay. You can be a boot black at home. If your heart says you are a boot black, you're a boot black. You never have to do this. You never have to be in public. You can serve yourself. You can serve your person. You can work on boots and leathers for your friends. You don't have to engage in all of this to be a boot black.
Oh, actually, can I ask a follow-up question? Because now a couple of people have mentioned like boot blacking for yourself, like solo sex, like jacking it, but with boot blacking. Can you talk about what that would be like? Who was it who brought that up?
That question obviously tickled me pink. I think because I'm in my own world when I'm boot blacking or I'm doing anything regardless of the service. So when I'm at home by myself and just like touching leather or touching something and cleaning it and conditioning it, it's very sexy. It's very sexy because I'm like watching all that dirt come off and I'm seeing the colors again and I'm like, oh man, like this is kind of making me hot and flustered. So even though I'm not engaging with my body sexually or this object, it could be sexually. I mean, you could lick and do whatever you want at home, but yeah, it really is a form of solo play. You know, there's so many things that you can do, like erotic asphyxiation, like boot blacking at home can feel just as sexy, just as powerful, just as dominant, if you will. And then even if it's not like a physical person in the actual boot or shoe, like you can like rip open the laces and be like, yeah, you stay right there and like let me clean this thing. But yeah, it can be very sexy. Yeah, stay open. I'm gonna put this thing inside of you. Yeah, you stay right there and you be a good girl. Yeah, I'm a switch, by the way. So what? So yeah, that's what solo boot blacking can feel like. Thank you so much.
And for those of us who are not using it for sex, no shaming, because you know me, as a hoe. I use it for meditation. I'm neurospicy, I have ADHD, heavy emphasis on the H, so that's why I have a kind of a stutter in my speech. Trying to talk too fast, my brain wants to say all the things. Anyway, I like to use it for meditation. I will pull out some shoes or boots that I have, set up stuff to do it, and just keep going. And go and go and go and go and go on whatever I have until I feel I'm resolved in whatever it is. I'm like, my arms are exhausted, my fingers are exhausted. I can relax and let go of some of that and channel it into something really good for myself.
And yeah, anybody else on, what was my question? Oh yeah, wanking it, but also, how does it feel to boot black? With someone, by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I could say I am somebody who has a lot of social anxiety in spaces like this one. There's just so many people that I want to say hi to and reconnect with, and so boot blacking is really lovely in that it gives me an opportunity to just, sit down with one person at a time and say, hi, we're connecting over this thing, we're connecting over this process, I have a job to do here, and it's this really lovely one-on-one connection. But also for that reason, I don't really do a lot of events. I haven't in a while, and it has been a sort of personal, intimate practice for myself, for people who I'm close with, and getting to do that at home, pulling out all of your leathers and doing them all at once is almost like a way of coming back to self. Right? You're reminded of you're going through your archive, remembering your timeline, you're laying it all out in front of you and really spending time and that devotional, kind of like energetic time travel with each of these objects. And so that's a process that I do try to practice regularly just to give myself that connection.
There's no reason for her to stand up. No one else is standing up. You guys noticed that, right? It's only the woman wearing no pants.
Kink and leather.
They keep standing up and showing everyone her ass.
Finding something that I can just sort of hurl myself into mouth first and just fully, be overwhelmed by. And so it's a very beautiful opportunity to have this very small point of focus that you can just open yourself to completely. And so there's nothing that exists in the world other than the leather in front of you. There's everything else just goes away. The rest of the party, the social anxiety, what you did yesterday, what you have to do tomorrow, all of that doesn't matter because you can just dive deep into the relationship with the leather and the smells and the tastes and the feelings. And that's what I seek in a lot of my play. And that's one of the things that's really special for me about boot blacking. It is also a very helpful thing for social anxiety because you're like, I have a task. To have a task. I don't have to wonder if it's okay for me to be here because this is my shift. I am supposed to be here for this shift.
By the way, you can get your boots done at the party that is going to happen when this panel is over. Do you guys know about this party?
I was worried about that.
Cool. So, last question before we go to audience Q&A. Have you ever fisted someone with Hubbards?
What?
Can you? Is it safe?
Yes. So all of those questions. I've been fisted with Hubbards. I've fisted people with Hubbards. It is safe if you are not allergic to beeswax or pine tar. If you're not allergic to any of those things, those kind of byproducts, you're fine. It's great. It works. It's really nice. Yeah. The smell alone. So yeah, you can do it. It's all really good. If you're going to use it with something with a condom, don't. Most condoms, unless they're not a latex condom, latex condoms will rupture. So if you want to use condoms on toys or whatever, use something that's not latex. And also, be careful with your toys, depending if you've got, I don't want to say higher end, because I've been gifted a bunch of shit, but if you've got more novelty toys, I wouldn't suggest using Hubbards with a novelty toy. It's probably going to make it start to come apart and peel in a very, very unhappy making way. So, no, don't do it.
Thank you.
Good tip. Pro tip.
Anybody else? Oh, yeah.
Because Hubbards is oil-based, I would only recommend using it with a single density silicone toy. If you're going to do that, anything that's like a rubber or a phthalate, or even a dual density with a soft outside, you're going to start having degradation of the material. So I would stick with your hands if I were you. It does have a lifelong side effect, which is that you won't be able to smell it without getting turned on for the whole rest of your life. I think a lot of us in this room are in that position.
That's science. Do you guys want to add anything? We're getting a little lube lesson too. A little safer sex.
Hubbards, if you're listening.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us.
Mormons.
That's why we can't have them as a sponsor. They're very religious. Sorry, guys. Yes,
Whatever,
we've gone
I'm
down.
religious.
They're
Talk to your elders.
Oh no! Oh no!
I mean, what?
You can fetishize that.
There are other really amazing brands out there. I just want to say that. Like, there's so many products. I would say, more importantly, as a PSA, buy products from actual bootblacks. There are a lot of bootblacks out there who actually have homemade stuff. Like, if you go on Etsy, oh yeah, thank you so much, Chai. I have plugged this person so many times. They're probably like, Deja. Yeah, I do, as many times as I can. So this is Red Tiger Leather for those at home. It is a conditioner, and this is someone who is a bootblack and they make it at home. It has tallow, lard, lanolin, and beeswax. Like, you can still find things that don't darken your leather. You can find things that are low allergen, allergen-free, scent-free. Whatever you're looking for, there is a product out there. So, I mean, you could probably even fist with this, high-key. But I haven't done it. I'm not a fister, I'm a fisty. But I know we talk so much about Hubbards being like the be all, but there's so many really great brands out there. I mean, Saphir is a really great brand, Angelus, Lincoln, there's International Mr. Bootblack, he has his own line of stuff. So it's like, don't just stick to one brand. Explore what's in your price range, explore what smells good to you, feels good to you, just works for your lifestyle. So don't feel like, oh my God, like, I really want Hubbards, but I'm allergic to the things. Like, there are other products, like, don't worry. There's much cheaper products out there, don't worry. You can find something that's very unique to your style of, like, leather care and bootblacking.
And if we're talking about anti-capitalist practices, finding something that's multi-purpose.
Oh, I just came again. Oh my God.
Okay, on the
That was so
being
good.
Multi-purpose. It's Q&A time. So here's how this is going to work. If you have a question, you can raise your hand or get my attention in some way, and then Laura Westengard is going to bring you a microphone. So remember, if your question is really more of a statement, there are a lot of pro-doms here. And we're not afraid to shut you down, and hear me now, believe me later, it's not gonna be in a way that you're gonna like. Okay? Does anyone have a question? I don't know if that mic is gonna reach out. No, it's a long mic. But you can also approach us. We're super nice.
Approach.
If you can and would like to. Oh yeah, or Rocket's very approachable. Thank you.
Hello, panel. I have heard it said.
Why is
from
their
other
mic so much
bootblacks
better?
that some aspects of this is service for service sake. Is this a line that resonates with you, and how so?
Great question. Good job. You're not going to get hurt.
For me, that is part of it. I don't always need to do it because it's doing it for someone or something. It's a service. I can offer it. I'll do it with people, for people who've never had it done, or someone's running late. I'll take it. I can do that for you. It is service for service sake. I don't need anything to come out of it for me. I just like to do it.
Yeah, you understood that right, Kim. Bootlicking cap.
Oh, I would love everyone to, if you have thoughts on service.
I would say a quick part. I don't have to do service at events, but I kind of need to because I feel like when I have a task, I feel included, very much like how Rocket said. Like, I kind of need a task to feel like I'm supposed to be in a room, and if I don't have a task, then I don't feel like I'm supposed to be
I could say, I mean, the service for service's sake does resonate with me. And, you know, I learned from Katie, like so many of us did.
Wait.
And, you know, learning from somebody.
What's going on over here on the right? What's going on with him now being on top of her leg? Is that a him or are they them?
A title holder, my first impulse, of course, was, I want to get good enough to compete and to try to become a title holder myself one day. And I sort of grew up in a family where trying to excel and be the best and get accolades was how you got attention. And so it was actually a really intentional thing for me to commit to being an amateur and to commit to learning for the sake of learning and to practicing for the sake of practicing without the goal in mind. And I'm so humbled by the people. I mean, I think everyone here has so much more knowledge and skill than I do, but because there is so much community service to being a title holder, and that's really what it centers around. But for me, sort of staying on the sidelines and making that a little bit smaller as a goal for myself was also really helpful. In the interpersonal sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm also, you know, I've never been part of the circuit, and for me, I think I think service for service sake is one of the ways that you can be a boot black. It's certainly not the only one, you know. But for me, it's like I'm doing this because it is mutually pleasurable, and whatever that pleasure means for me and whatever it means for you, like that's going to be different depending on who's in my chair. But for me, I'm not trying to become, you know, the best at doing this, because that doesn't feel like having a linear scale doesn't feel like it's relevant to how I think about it. It feels like it would be like, I'm going to be the best at being in love. Like I'm here. I'm doing this because it's an opportunity to throw myself into worship.
Just remember, guys. Just remember. We basically have two choices moving forward in this country. You can either choose this, or you can choose fascism. Make your choices. Do you want queer, BDSM, kink, whatever this is? Anti-capitalism? Not in the fascist sense, in the socialist sense? Or do you want fascism? These are your choices. Kink, queer, leather, bootlicking, or fascism.
I think service is one way of thinking about that in an interpersonal setting, but you can just as easily worship, you know, a tree or the air. You know, it's just about attention.
Cool. Next question.
Hi. So this is my question. So I associate like combat boots with like the military or fascism, things like that. And I'm wondering, like, do any of you share those associations? And if you do, like, how do you wrap your head around that?
I have a funny story about this.
Great question.
I was just in LA for work, and I was wearing pretty close to this outfit. And I was walking on the beach, and this little old lady came up to me. She was shorter than me, and like a little old lady with a handbag. And she came up to me, and she was like, excuse me, young man. Your shaved head and boots and everything, do they signify anything? And I was like, I'm not sure what you're asking me, ma'am. And she said, well, you see where I come from. When someone has big leather boots and a shaved head, it means they're a piece of shit Nazi scumbag.
They're reclaiming it. They're reclaiming it.
Thank you so much for asking. No, where I come from, it just means I'm gay.
They're reclaiming
But I know you have a brick in that handbag, so I really appreciate you asking first.
For me, when it comes to boots, I don't have that association because I do associate them with the military. But for me, as a black person from the South, the military was one of the best ways for people to get out of our situation and move forward. So to me, they represent something that can be supportive. With my uncles, I have a nephew who just swore into the military the other day. Do I want him to go? Absolutely not. I've seen that child since a day old. But he's choosing his own way and his own path. And I support him in that. And when it comes to like boots and braces, I don't know if most people know this, but boots and braces originated with black people and of doc culture. It was that Nazi fascism shit. We had it first. They Columbus did.
I am a painter and an artist as well, and I've made a lot of paintings of boots and of different fetish objects. And I remember I did a series, maybe like 2016, that I was calling Love Story. There was these different pairings of boots and shoes, together, sort of to try to replicate human relationship dynamics. And I remember showing some of these paintings in studio visits, and I would now be like, oh,
okay,
it's these two.
All right. We need to reset on the volume. Because I've asked for feedback about the volume of my mic because their volume is so soft that I've had to boost this up. When I boost it up, I can't hear the difference between my mic and them. So I have asked for feedback before. But I was previously told the feedback was good. Now I'm being told by other people that you can't hear any of them and you can only hear me. I can't control the volume of their video. So we need to have a conversation where people need to give me very specific feedback in the chat about how we can rectify because I can't hear the difference. Okay? So when I'm seeing people say it's good and then I see some people say, Carlin, I can't fucking hear anything. Like I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. So what do you want? Well, I can't control the volume of their video, so... Okay, so I'm getting no feedback, so I'm just going to play it I'm going to play it fully boosted, and I'm getting no feedback otherwise, so that's going to be what it is.
It's so violent, they're hurting each other, they're strangling each other. And so I was really having to contend. This is what a lot of explorers.
Okay, as I just previously said, and I don't like repeating myself when people are not giving me specific feedback. I have their volume. I cannot make them any louder. They are at the absolute peak of how loud I can
make. So I was really having to contend.
Am I being clear? I cannot make them any louder. So it is what it is.
Explorers, but it is this, it is an association that exists and is very present in the political dynamics that we're navigating when we're doing scenes or wearing these things.
Yeah, but I want to add, we don't cede any fucking ground to fascists.
Thank you.
Certainly not.
If someone can't tell from how you move through the world if you're a faggot or a fascist, that is a different problem.
Or if you're afraid to state it one way or the other, right?
Right?
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Great. More questions? I'm a little distracted. Yeah, and the pink.
This one's polishing the vest.
Thank you.
So now they're
question,
touching.
as we talked about earlier around using your words, making the bootblacking experience perhaps more cruisy and more flirty. would love advice from all of the panelists on how to do that. And just for context, like I came out in the 90s in the men's community, and it was all about cruising, very little technical. And I've seen a swing to this very technical, task-oriented bootblacking experience. And I would love for everyone in this room to have more of the cruising, fun, and flirt back. So your tips would be appreciated.
You guys got anything to say about
20, you're doing 20, 25 minutes working on their boots, getting going, and they're getting ready to leave. It's like, if you want to connect later, here's my card.
Cruising is complicated for me. I feel like I'm very much in my head because I'm like, oh, I exist in this body and I don't know how people perceive me and things like that. But I think when people see that I have a skill or they're watching me do something, it makes it so much easier to be like, hey, looks at boots. I noticed you have on the blah, blah, blah boots and the blah, 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 and I noticed that they're a little dirty. Would you like to zip for me? And people are like, oh my God, yes, my boots are so dirty. And by the time that like we end that conversation, it's like I really sat down and I got to know them. I'm like, okay, is this a friend? Is this somebody who would be more than a friend? But either way, I could be like, oh yeah, like I post on like TikTok and Instagram if you want to like follow me. And then like it just goes from there. So that's like my form of cruising. I'll usually just like approach somebody about their leather or like what they're wearing and be like, oh my God, wow, need help with that?
I've definitely had people use the line like, oh, I would love for you to do my boots, not at this event, some other time. And that works pretty well.
Yeah, I think there's a really interesting, I don't know anything about this. I think there's a really interesting cultural phenomenon, right, that is distinct in the different subparts of the scene. Where like a lot of the sort of cis gay men oriented leather spaces are very cruisy, not a lot of verbal negotiation. It's very like you can touch someone anywhere one time, and if they take your hand away and they put it back, then they get kicked out. Like that kind of darkroom vibe that when there's bleed between that and the like, you know, the more queer scene that's like more, you know, it has a more like social justice oriented bent, that it does tend to be very into verbal negotiation and very into, you know, there's DMs, like everybody's focused on safety. Like when there's cross-pollination between those two scenes, it can get difficult. You know, I certainly found that when I was starting to enter those like cis-centered spaces where not everybody is approaching everybody else with the base assumption that they're probably a sexual assault survivor, right? And that they can just touch you and that's fine and normal and part of how negotiating happens. And so I think it can be tricky. You have to sort of read the room and figure out what language you're speaking in the room that you're in order to be mutually understood. Because the way that you invite someone in or that you interact or negotiate in a space like Submit versus in a space like the Eagle, it's not the same. And for those of us that cross between those spaces, you have to code switch a little bit.
Thank you all. Question? Another question? Oh, there's so many questions. Yeah. Yeah. Do you wanna move over there? Yellow hat.
We might have to meet in the middle.
Yellow hat. Can you step on down?
Or come to me.
Figured it out.
Hello. I wanted to ask, so bootblacking can be a place where desire plays out, and it can also be a platform for community care within the leather community. I would love it if some of you could speak to what you see the importance of the intermingling of desire and community care for the leather leather community and for the LGBT community, how it's a thank you.
That's a beautiful question. Yeah, I think a lot of queers have spent their lives being taught that they don't belong anywhere and they don't deserve to be taken care of. And I think just getting someone in your chair tells their body that those things aren't true.
Yeah, Sam, I would recommend that you stop watching conservative clickbait bullshit and you start tuning in real far left. About like, there's just no reason for it. So if you watch the real far left, you would know that.
And so I think a tangible act of care, you know, in the same way as like when we think about what this community is made of, like, okay, yeah, we're fucking, but like, also when someone has surgery, we bring over a casserole, and also, you know, we're cat sitting for each other, and we're helping each other when you have to call out of work, and giving each other rides from the airport, and like, it's all care, it's all service. You know, it moves. It's a ecosystem of service that moves in all directions in a way that lifts everybody up. And so, I think bootblacking is part of that, in the same way as like, my car's making a weird noise, can you come over and tell me what it is part of that, in the same way as like, I'm having a mental health crisis and I need to not be alone is part of that. Like, it's just different manifestations of the same.
For me, what I would say is LGBTQ folks who are not in the scene, for me, I've had to learn. I've been a service boy like 20 years plus. And so I just have my ways. At work, they now call me grandpa, because my backpack, like, I teach classes about my backpack. It has the things I need as well as the person I'm serving, because that makes my day and their day and our adventures, whatever we're doing, better. I just happen to do it as habit now. So someone in the office is like sneezing, like, would you like an allergy tablet? I got a headache. Would you like Advil or Tylenol? My stomach doesn't. I've got Pepto and Lactate. What would you need? You know, but also I've had to learn how to dial that back for people who have never been around us. They are like, what the hell? Why are you so Johnny on the spot? What are you doing? I'm just trying to be helpful. So, I mean, it's a lovely way for me to share and engage with other folks who are not this usual crew. And sometimes they'll ask me, like, so how did that start for you? I'm the oldest of 4 kids. If you leave the house without that pacifier, those wipes, whatever it is, your day is ruined. So, you know, just taking that and moving it forward into my leather. And like, I work for an LGBTQ nonprofit, so I get to be around different people and different things. And I'm just, wow, you're just such a handy human. And, you know, so I appreciate that I have that background and I can be that Johnny on the spot when things are happening. Sometimes it's Band-Aids, sometimes it's, you know, Lactate, but just being able to care for someone in that moment, it's good for me. Hopefully it's good for them too.
I just also want to add that when you're looking for folks in community who are service oriented, you can always approach a bootblack, and even if we don't have something, we know someone who has a thing that you're probably looking for. And whether that's like a physical item, like a Band-Aid, or that's like, hey, like, I'm gonna be having top surgery soon and I'm gonna need food, like, who's a cook? Us service people always gravitate to each other and help one another. We know one another. And then we kind of are just so diligent with our like skills and like who we know, and just so happy to pass that information on. So I think that's also, even if you're not necessarily leather or kink or however you identify, if you find someone who's like identifies as a bootblack, you're like, okay, I know you know things. You know information, you know people, you know networks. You can connect me to exactly what it is that I'm looking for, and that just also makes it really special. We're also historians, we're also teachers.
Were you, Master Shake, were you here when they were asking about bootblacking anti-capitalist. Yeah, they actually said that that they don't engage in capitalism when they sell their stuff.
There's, I mean, anything that you are looking for. If you want tea.
Oh yeah, bro. You're gonna die at some of the clips. There was literally a question that verbatim said, "Why is bootblacking anti-capitalist?" and then a whole discussion about it.
Come find a boot black because we probably know some things that could save your life. Medics, so much things. Yes.
I mean, yes to everything that everyone is naming. And when I think about bootblacking, I think about it in relation to energy work. I think of it in relation to oral history work. I think of it in relation to energy work, ear acupuncture, tattooing, all these other things that I do. It's all part of the same toolkit of offerings that I can provide, of care work that I can help sustain somebody with. And all of those things came about very organically because the conditions that we're under are asking us all to scale up, and I've had to make those really conscious choices, and we're making those choices together, that we're under this fascist onslaught. And it's not, some things are new, some things are more difficult, but there's so much community knowledge and historical knowledge to build upon. And knowing how to do post-surgery care, knowing how to have those allergy pills with somebody to change a diaper, knowing how to make somebody feel good in their body when they just got arrested 3 times in 1 week for protesting a genocide. Learning more skills, learning new skills, sharing the skills that we already have towards growing our capacity individually and collectively is something that feels so urgent more than ever. And yeah, I think bootblacks hold a lot of that knowledge and those connections.
Thank you. There's time for more questions. So we had somebody from over here. Is anybody over here have a question? Okay, yes. Can you move to Laura, or you guys sort it out? Or no, Laura's got you.
Yeah. Is there something in your kit that if all of your kits got mixed up, you would know it was your kit?
Great question.
Not my kit I carry now. Well, the fact that the kit itself, I have just a leather box that someone gave me when I stepped aside from my title. So that's all I use now. Opposed to what would have made it notable when I had my bigger kit is bootblacks do carry everything. Paracord, pens, lip balm, you name it. When we've got the big trunks, it's in there. I used to carry a string of pearls because I saw a film like, yeah, I did.
I don't even want to know what you do with that string of pearls.
I'm like frantically looking for. I'm like, what? Well, I can't find my pearl necklace. And I'm like, I know they're not real, but with this do. And she was just like, you're the best ever. And I'm like, thanks. So that's how we would have found it before. Now, it's not the Hubbards. There's more Hubbards than there should be.
This is what happens when you ask a service-oriented person for a pearl necklace.
I would say for me, it would be probably any of my sneaker cleaners or sneaker-oriented sprays. I know we've talked a lot about leather, but my true love is sneakers. I love a pair of Timberlands. I am a New Yorker through and through, born and raised. There's nothing like a fresh pair of butters. So if I am at an event or whatever and I see somebody with Timberlands, I'm like, please come to me. Clear the aisle. I'm like, the other bootblacks might not have the stuff I do, because I thought about you when you showed up.
I'm going to give a really honest and embarrassing answer, which is that it's probably not what's in my kit, but what my kit is in, which is a very dirty tote bag, which I know is not good, but that's also how my tattoo machines travel, is rolled up in a t-shirt.
Gross!
So that's just me.
Don't get a tattoo from this woman. That's a bad idea.
The thing that I have is a kit for vegan leather. that keeps it vegan, that doesn't use any animal products in it, and that is optimized for the type of rubber that vegan leather is made of.
Cool.
The challenging thing about it is that the best lube the best shine for vegan leather is pure silicone lube, like pure PUR brand silicone lube. So you're conditioning the vegan leather with the lube, and then you're trying to brush, and your hands are covered in lube. And so you're brushing the leather, and you're just squirting the brush across the room every third stroke.
But silicone leather doesn't like stick on the ground or anything. Or not a silicone lube. I'm distracted. Silicone leather. I'm inventing new things. Anyway, ignore that joke. Are there more questions over here? Oh, great. Thank you so much. Okay, well, Deja just answered for yourself, but for everyone else, what is your favorite thing that you have worked on, whether it's a specific piece or a category? Anyone can jump in while anyone is thinking. Yeah, take some time.
I think a leather jacket, personally, because there's so much surface area, there's just so much opportunity to really massage in and really get a feel for all of it and all the nooks and crannies. So yeah, I think leather jacket is my answer.
So I think my boring answer is a square-toed harness boot. I know they're everywhere, but there's something. Yep, just like that. There's the shape of the square toe in my mouth is my favorite. So that's really what I like the best.
Okay.
I think for me, like, I like things that are garment leather that I can put my hands on. But the way I started doing using my arm. A friend of mine was sitting for me, well, actually standing for me at Folsom, not East, the other one. I forget, there's one here too. And they were standing on a chair. They had chaps, thanks. See? They had chaps on and they needed conditioning, so I put some Hubbards on the inside thighs of it and was just using my arm, reaching back and forth and using my muscle to massage it in. We had a great time.
Any other tales like that?
Actually, at the last kink party I went to here was the last kink out right before lockdown at PS1. And at that, I did Mistress Blunt's leather pants.
Oh, Master Shake. We forgot to tell you. The real star question of the presentation so far has been, have you ever fisted someone using Hubbards? Which apparently is their grease that they polish. And then there was a whole discussion about fisting someone with the boot polish.
And it took like 45 minutes. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Ask other people questions for a minute.
So if you want a lot of attention from a bootblack, just wear like a leather cat suit, right? Yeah. Right there.
Yes, please.
Yeah, also gangbangs. That would be fun. Okay, I think we have time for one more question. So can we get somebody from over here? Have we answered all of your burning questions? All right. Over here? Yeah.
This is so inappropriate.
Perfect.
I am very curious about tipping. And I would really love some guidance without humility, but with the honor and respect that you already have and show us. But help us know how to tip and that stuff.
That's not inappropriate at all, Felice. That's a really good question.
Absolutely appropriate. Love talking about tips.
It's inappropriate because I'm working as a sign language interpreter right now. It is not an inappropriate question. I'm sorry, that was not clear. Because I'm just using language.
I mean, I think it sort of depends on the venue a little bit. The sort of base understanding is when you're doing someone's boots, you are using product that you then have to replenish, and it's... and it's helpful to throw a couple of bucks to get more Hubbards, right?
Not a couple of bucks. Let's give them price ranges, please. So I would say when we're talking a couple of bucks, start baseline 10. And that's for like your standard high shine boot. If you've got a tall boot, you're gonna go 15 to 20. If you're looking for garment care, you're gonna go higher. You're gonna tip them more coverage, more space, more material, more money. And if you don't have that sort of ability, because oftentimes I don't, you can ask for a barter. I'm a big barter fan, so ask for a barter. And if you don't have money on you at the time, a lot of boot blacks will take Venmo, PayPal, all those sorts of things. But we can take an IOU. We will hunt you down for it. We'll bring our friends. We'll take an IOU.
I would say a great way to cruise, like if there's somebody that you're trying to cruise who isn't a boot black, which I can't conceive of obviously, but just in a hypothetical part of the multiverse, that would be like a great way to cruise. To be like, oh, like I'm so broke, but I really want some cash to tip my boot black. Could I borrow some cash from you, and then I'll pay you back later? See what I'm? Yeah. Or like I'll owe you something if you give me some cash to tip my boot black, and then they're like, what a great person that always tips their boot black. I want to.
It is cool and sexy to tip your boot black. That's true.
I want to add to what you both said, because what you said about venues made me think, even with the venue, right? I think more so if you're coming into a space and you know that your leathers are tore up, like you know they are dirty, you've been traveling in them, they've got all type of schmutz on them, like you probably...
Sorry, just one thing. Don't come near us with playa shit. Don't do it. We will hate you. We will never, ever let you sit in our chairs again. Playa. It's Burning Man. Out for Burning Man. Burning Man is out in the middle of a desert lake bed that has alkaline sand. We hate it. We will hate you forever.
Yeah, so to add to that, and I would say even to go a little further with that, like if you know that you may have some like gunk and things on your boots, you probably shouldn't start with 10 or 15, maybe 20 is the baseline, because it's going to take probably, let's say, an hour. And then I'm like, okay, like what's the average salary of the whatever people in America? I think it's like $20 an hour. So I feel like 20 for an hour of your time is probably going to be a good start, and then obviously work your way up from there. Like I do sliding scale, but even with that, I'm like, you know, people generally do tip at least 20, and then they keep going up from there, because I feel like most times where I'm going, people are jacked up, and in the best way, like they do actually need some TLC. And then even with the playa, you have to kind of think of the climate that you're in. So if you're in New York, you're gonna have salt stains. If you're in like California, you're gonna have certain dirt and muds and things. And even in like North Carolina region, like anywhere there's like dust, the red clay, anywhere there's like dust and certain elements, like you have to think about like I'm exposing another human to these things on my feet. And I would say tip appropriately based on that too, because you're exposing us to certain things, chemicals, elements, things like that. So consider that with the boot blacking. Like this is a human. I want to take care of this human for whatever I'm possibly exposing them to, and the labor that they're going to do, and how much these things cost, because hard boot blacking kits, I mean, that would be a really fun thing to ask people, like, what are your boot blacking kits worth? But yeah, I mean, we're talking sometimes in the hundreds to the thousands what our kits are worth.
Well, we need to wrap up soon, so I just want to say I'm not a boot black, but I am a whore, and I'm never mad that you tipped me too much.
Right.
So let that be your guide. So we're gonna start wrapping up. So first and foremost, I want to thank all of our panelists, and while we do, thank you, Riley. While we do, oh no, while we do, I would love it if you would all show off to the best of your interest your boot-blacked leathers, freshly done. Yes, and everyone can cheer for that. And cheer for the boot-blacks who boot-black the boot-blacks.
Very
So thank you so much to Rocket and Tamara Santibanez and Deja Flames and Q. Thank you to TDI for our venue for hosting. Our presenters, Flags, the Center for LGBTQ Studies at CUNY, and the Power of Leather series organized by Laura Westengard and Cassandra Sparks. And I would like to say that I would really love us to take some time to thank the Kink Out organizers. Babes, I cannot tell you how hard these freaks have been working for years, really, to educate and entertain you today. And they all have this personality flaw of humility. I don't know why they all share that in common, so please give it up for them now one more time. This panel is immediately followed by a sold-out event, Kink Out Incarnate, right here at TVI. You should have a wristband marking whether you purchased a Kink Out Incarnate ticket or not. The event is from now, 4 p.m. until 10 p.m. See you there, finally, thanks to Boot Blacks everywhere, leather forever. Oh, and ASM interpreters, I know I shouted them out, but thank you so much for our ASM interpreters.
I think that's pretty much it. That's it. Maybe they go on a little bit more. That's it. That's it. I have learned more about bootlicking than I ever wanted to. I have learned more about bootlicking than I ever wanted to know in my life. I have learned how bootlicking is anti-capitalist. I have learned that our taxes, well, at least the taxes in the state of New York or the city of New York, fund classes in bootlicking. This is just great. This is just great information. I'm really glad we learned this today. All right. Well, I don't really have anything else to add to this. I don't think there is anything else to add. So for those intrepid warriors who made it until the very end, congratulations. For those people who chimped out after the first presentation, aren't you guys glad you sticked around? Can you imagine being one of those losers that left because they were bored in the first presentation and they missed the entire bootlicking presentation? Can you, this is why we don't give up. We train for these moments. This is why I put this presentation second, by the way. I knew this was going to be more spicy than the first presentation. You had to pay your dues with watching the first presentation to get to the bootlicking is anti-capitalist presentation. All right. So, I'm going to go get a burrito and, cry and stuff like that. And I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. where we'll be watching something queer related. I don't know exactly yet, mostly because I haven't made up my mind yet. But trust me, we have lots of options. We have lots of options of things to watch. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have notifications turned on, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here? 3 months, May 17th. And what brought you? That's difficult to answer. you'd like to.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.